Here, and this is a quick lecture on prepositions. This is in chapter 8. So if you have your book, open up to chapter 8. This chapter is on prepositions and the verb me. We'll do the first little brief lecture on prepositions, and then we'll move over to a second brief lecture separately on the verb me. So let's talk about prepositions. Prepositions, I'm going to move over to the book here, move myself smaller in the corner. But prepositions are words in English that talk about a relationship between two objects. So you have me, I am sitting in front of the desk. In front of is a preposition. It's an idiomatic preposition. Or if I'm sitting on the desk, then I would sit on it. On is a preposition. If I am sitting under the desk, then under is a preposition. And so that's the way prepositions work in English. That's basically what they are in Greek. So we're going to be learning a number of prepositions and the rules that govern prepositions in class. So the idea is anything, what does he say in the chapter? Anything that the rabbit can do is what a preposition is. So under, through, over, beside, those are all prepositions, okay? So we're learning a little bit of English grammar, or reviewing a little bit of English grammar, and now moving into the lesson in terms of Greek. So now we're in 8.3. So the function of a preposition in Greek is the same as in English. But here is the deal. Prepositions will typically come before a word, a noun, or an adjective. And so you have preposition and then your word, your noun or adjective. And that noun is going to be in a certain case. And in Greek, oops, I disappeared. The meaning of a preposition depends upon the case of that word that it precedes. So if, for example, one of the prepositions is the preposition dia. And if dia is in front of a word that is in the accusative, then dia means on account of. But if dia is in front of a word that is in the genitive case, it means through. So the same word dia can have a different meaning depending on the word that it precedes. And what that is called is it's called the object of the preposition. That word that can be in different cases is called the object of the preposition. So if it's dia, auton, auton, the word autos, and in that case it's in the accusative, then it would mean that it would be on account of him. We would translate that. But if it was dia autou, which autou is autos in the genitive, then it would mean through him. Okay? So that's the basic concept. So many prepositions will only take a certain object or a certain case in the object. So like the preposition ace, which means into, always takes the accusative. It'll always be in the accusative. The object of the preposition will always be in the accusative. The preposition en, which means in or to or with, takes the object in the dative. So some prepositions only take one case, but other prepositions will take multiple cases that follow. The object of the preposition can be in multiple cases, and in that case, in those instances, you will need to memorize the various meanings of the preposition depending on the case of the object of the preposition. All right. So the nice thing is that the object of the preposition almost always follows the preposition. And here we go. We're gonna move down here. So we just talked about 8.3. So basically, when we are memorizing these things, you should make a separate flashcard for each case. So you might have dia in the genitive, or dia with the genitive, and then another flashcard should say dia with the accusative. So you might have to supplement your Mounts flashcards if you bought the flashcard set. You might just need to make some extra ones with that dia with the genitive, dia with the accusative, and then we're going to walk through a number of those things, okay? And at the end of this chapter, you'll see the vocab, and we'll walk through some of the vocab and the prepositions that we're learning this week. And then I will also give you a comprehensive list of prepositions in the appendix of your textbook. Okay. One thing to note about this, so earlier we learned to use keywords, like in the genitive you use the keyword of, and in the dative you use the keyword to or with or in or something like that. The deal is prepositions will replace those keywords. So, in other words, if you have a noun that's in the genitive with no preposition in front of it, use the keyword of. If you have a noun that is in the genitive but it has a preposition in front of it, you do not use the word of, you replace it with the preposition. Okay? That's basically what he's saying here. So in the example, ha logos totheo, ha logos totheo means the word to God. The key word to is used since theo is in the dative. However, the phrase ha logos soon totheo, you add that word soon, which means with or together. And then you would translate ha logos, the word with God, soon totheo. So you drop out the keyword to and you replace it with the preposition with. All right. So that's one thing about keywords and cases with prepositions. All right. So same. So in not that's both in the dative and the genitive in all this. Now, one of the nice things, and you're probably rejoicing with this to a certain degree, is that prepositions are not inflected. In other words, you don't add endings onto prepositions. Okay. And you've been memorizing your case endings for all nouns and adjectives, and that's paying off. You're memorizing the article. Prepositions are not inflected. However, there are times when prepositions will change their form. So, for example, the thing is, changing the form doesn't take anything away from the meaning. It just is kind of a functional thing when you have, like, for example, look down here at meta, meta auton. When you have meta auton, okay, when you have this vowel, the next word after a preposition like meta that ends in a vowel, and then the next word begins with a vowel, what you'll find is that that vowel on meta, that alpha, will drop out, and you'll replace it with the apostrophe. And you will simply say metauton. Notice also that you don't have two accent marks anymore. This becomes essentially one pronounced word. So instead of metauton, it's metauton. And so metauton, you have what this is called is elision. We talked about that the alpha elides. It's elision takes place. Now, one other thing that takes place in certain circumstances is up here you have a vowel, a word beginning with a vowel coming after meta. But if you have a word that begins with a vowel and a rough breather coming after meta, then not only will the alpha elide, it'll drop out, but because of this rough breather, this tau is going to do what we call aspirating. It will aspirate, and the t sound will become a th sound. So it's called aspiration because the t, you actually breathe through it. Okay, so meta becomes met becomes meth, and the way you would pronounce this is instead of metahemon, you would say methemon. All right. So I think if you have a vocabulary card that says meta, met, and meth, all of those words are the same word. They just go through a little bit of a change depending on what is the word that's following them. Okay. And we'll look in the vocabulary section about what those various options are. So speaking of vocabulary, let's go to the end of the chapter and look at the vocabulary really quick. And I'm just going to walk through a couple of the prepositions with you. So there's kind of a good functional chart here, a spatial chart. You can tell, like, the preposition pros means before or toward. You can see en is in, ace is into, hupa, guess what that is? It's under. You go over here to ek is out of or from. Look at dia over here. Dia goes all the way through. Apa here is from or away from. And para here is alongside, like para church. parachurch organization is a organization that is alongside the church. So that little spatial thing that will be pretty helpful along the way. And then a few of the vocabulary words, like for example, apa, say apa, is in the genitive and it means from. It will, when elision takes place, it'll look like op. When aspiration takes place, it'll look like off. Okay, so but those are all the same preposition, apa. We already talked about dia. Say dia. In the genitive, it means through. In the accusative, it means on account of. And this is what it looks like with elision. Ek. Say ek. Ek means from or out of in the genitive. And this is where we get, like the word in Greek, the second book of the Septuagint is called exodos, Exodus. So exodos is the road out of, out from. So hados is road or way, and ex is road out of. So the road out of Egypt is exodos. You can see what it looks like with aspiration there. Okay. As we keep going down, we have, here's our meta. Meta in the genitive is with, and meta in the accusative is after. I remember meta because Aristotle's book, Metaphysics, is about ontology and ontological realities philosophically. But the reason it's titled Metaphysics is because it's the book that comes after physics. Metaphysics is after physics. So meta, there you have it. And then here's elision, and here is aspiration. And then let's see, do we have any other ones? Para. Para has, in the genitive, means from. In the dative, means beside or in the presence of. And then in the accusative, means alongside. All right. Pros, to towards with. Here's another one, hupa. In the genitive, means by. In the accusative, means under. So again, they're different. The object of the preposition determines the meaning of the preposition. Okay. Many prepositions will only take its object in one case, but some prepositions can take their objects in multiple cases. Okay. I will also, if you want a comprehensive list of prepositions, turn to the appendix on page 419 of Mounts and the 4th edition, 419. And on page 419, it'll give you a comprehensive list of the prepositions. We're learning about 2/3 of the prepositions this week, and that's going to have do a lot for us. So anyway, that's prepositions. Hope that was helpful. And I'll give you a small lecture on the verb aimer in another video. All right. Thanks, guys.